Good afternoon, students. In the last video, we have discussed about precipitation and forms of precipitation. In this video, I am going to explain about types of precipitation. Precipitation is usually classified on the basis of the basic processes involved in causing the same. There are four types of precipitation. One is cyclonic precipitation, second is convective precipitation, third one is orographic precipitation, and the fourth is precipitation due to turbulent ascent. In the first type, the cyclonic precipitation, it results from lifting of air masses converging into low pressure area of cyclone. It is caused by the difference of pressure within the air mass on the surface of the earth. If low pressure is generated at some place, the warm moist air from the surrounding area rushes to the zone of low pressure with violent force. The warm moist air rises up with whirling motion and gets condensed at higher altitude and ultimately heavy rainfall occurs. This may be of two types. First one is frontal precipitation and the second is non-frontal precipitation. These two precipitations are coming under cyclonic precipitation. First one is frontal precipitation and the second one is non-frontal precipitation. In the frontal precipitation, you can see the figure on the screen. This is the frontal precipitation type. The warm violent air is breezing and the precipitation you can see at the bottom of the warm violet air, and at the earth surface you can feel the cold, so that is the zone of cold air. See, this is a zone of cold air and precipitation you can see in the center, and this is the warm violet air. So what is this frontal precipitation? A border region between two adjacent air masses having different characteristics such as temperature and humidity is called as front. When the moving warm moist air mass is obstructing by the zone of cold air mass, the warm moist air rises up as it is lighter than cold air mass to higher altitude where it gets condensed and heavy rainfall occurs. So what is frontal precipitation? A border region between two adjacent air masses having different characteristics such as temperature and humidity is called as front. When the moving warm moist air mass is obstructing by the zone of cold air mass, the warm moist air rises up to higher altitude where it gets condensed and heavy rainfall occurs. This is called as the frontal precipitation. And the second one, non-frontal precipitation. You can see on the screen, this is the non-frontal precipitation image diagram. You can see the warm moist air is there, both side warm moist air, it is moving up, and at the top the cloud is there. Due to the condensation, the moist air will be lifted the cloud, and these clouds gets condensed and precipitation occurs on the earth surface. This is zone of low pressure. In the center portion, this is called as zone of the low pressure. In the center triangle shape, you can see there, the this zone is called as zone of low pressure, and the precipitation occurs at the earth surface. This is called as non-frontal precipitation. So non-frontal precipitation, in this case, the moist warm air mass is stationary and the moving cold air mass meets it. When the warm moist air mass rushes to the zone of low pressure from the surrounding area, a pocket is formed and the warm moist air rises up like a chimney towards higher altitude. At higher altitude, this air mass gets condensed and heavy rainfall occurs. This is called as non-frontal precipitation. And the second type of precipitation is convective precipitation. You can see the image. The warm moist air is moving. Moist air is moving. Sorry. Uh, sorry. This is a convective precipitation. You can see both the side, the cold air is moving, and at the center warm air is available, and due to this warm air the clouds gets condensed and the precipitation occurs on the earth surface. Convective precipitation in tropical countries, when on a particular hot day the ground surface gets heated unequally, the warm air is lifted to high altitude and the cooler air takes its place with high velocity. Thus, the warm, moist air mass is condensed at the high altitude, causing heavy rainfall. Convective precipitation is spotty and its intensity may vary from light showers to cloud burst. Only the rain is occurs like the only the small area is called as the pocket. Like pocket area, this precipitation occurs due to the warm air and cold air. And usually this is happened usually in the city area where you can see the cloud burst. Immediately the water falls uh, from the clouds is called as cloud burst. Sometimes you can feel the like shower, light showers. This is the convective type of precipitation. And the third one is orographic precipitation. In the orographic precipitation is due to the lifting of warm moisture laden air masses due to topographic barriers such as mountains. The mechanical lifting of moist air over mountain barriers causes heavy precipitation on the windward side. When moisture bearing winds, usually blowing from oceans to land surface, are forced far above the ground surface by the influence of the coastal mountain ranges, the cooling and condensation processes take place and the precipitation occurs on the windward side of the mountain. So where the mountain is there and the wind moist air is uh, moving with the velocity, there is a obstacle due to the mountain uh, present. So the warm moist air changes direction and immediately that will starts moving upward and it reaches the clouds. Hence, the clouds gets the condensed and the precipitation occurs on the area on the earth near the mountain. This is called as the orographic precipitation. Actually, this is depends upon the geography. As you see on the earth, almost the plain area will be there, and mountain is a hilly area. That's why the undulating terrain. In undulating terrain, the warm, moist air will move and changes its direction up and down. As a result, the clouds and gets condensed and the precipitation occurs on the earth. So next is the fourth one, last, precipitation due to turbulent ascent. Air mass is forced to rise up due to greater friction of earth's surface after its travel over ocean. The air mass rises up because of increased turbulence and friction. When it ultimately condenses and precipitation occurs, winter rainfall in Tamil Nadu is mainly due to this process. So next chapter is the measurement of precipitation. This measurement of precipitation, how the precipitation or rainfall will be measured, what type of instruments will be used for the rain gauges and all, that I'll discuss in the next session. Thank you.